Today we're going to be talking about 8.3 slope. When you guys think of slope, are there any words that you might think of when you think of slope? What do you think of? Okay, what about you? A hill, all right. What about you?
I think of
Snow and skiing. I hoped that someone would say that. I grew up on the ski slopes, okay? In Oregon, there's snow all the time. My parents have snow right now, and we would go skiing often on the slopes. And today we're going to be talking about slopes. Go ahead and write this down. I've got a formula for you that you're going to need to memorize. Slope equals rise over run. The rise is when you go up and down. The run is when you go left or right. So this is definitely a formula you will want to keep memorized. Slope equals rise over run. And just imagine it. If you're rising, you're going up, okay, or you can go down. If you're running, I'm going to run to the left. I will run to the right. I'm not going to run up and down. I'm going to run to the right or the left. Number 1 says, without finding the slope of the line, tell whether the slope is positive, negative, or 0. Look at the line from the left to the right and see what it's doing. So I want you to go ahead and just start right here with your finger. That's where your graph is, and it begins to go downward like this. We had mentioned that a slope is kind of like skiing. So let's just imagine that I've got a person who's here and he's skiing. Is he skiing upward, downward, or straight across?
downward.
Downward. Do you think going downward is positive or it's negative? It is negative. You're going down. Anytime you go down, that is going in a negative direction. So this slope is going to be a negative slope. For me, whenever I was skiing, going downward in the negative direction down the hill was the most fun, okay? So let's imagine this. This is my slope. If this guy is here and he is skiing or he's snowboarding, what do you think? Is he going in a positive direction, a negative direction, or is he not really moving and he's at a 0? That is a 0. So if this was finding a slope, there is 0 slope. It's not going up and it's not going down. In order to have a slope, you've got to rise, so you've got to go up, and you have to run, okay? But for this one, there's no rise, so the slope is 0. Now let's imagine here we've got this person and he is going in this direction. Which way is that guy going? Is he going in a positive direction or in a negative direction? A positive. This is the way that it's probably the toughest to go skiing, but my slope is positive because I'm going upward. So this is just a real quick and easy way to tell, okay, whether your answer is going to be negative or positive. For number 2, it's asking us to find the slope of the line. At the beginning of our lesson, you guys saw what the formula is for finding the slope. What is the formula for finding slope?
Rise.
Good job. Rise over run. Rise. Is that going up or down or left and right?
Up and down.
Think about it. You're rising up. Like a hot air balloon, it rises up. Okay, so we're talking about how far we go up. So right now, I'm going to start with this point. Now, my goal is to get all the way over here to this point. I've got to find out how much I rise, or how much I go up to get there, and how much I run, how much I go left or right to get there. So let's talk about how far up I need to go. I'm going to be counting my blocks. So I'm going up 1, 2, 3. If I'm going up, is that a positive direction or a negative direction? Positive. I'm going up. That's positive. So I went up, or my rise was 3. Now I've got to find my run, because I've got to get from that point where I am over to my other dot. So let's count how many boxes we have to go to get to 0 and 7. Count with me. 1,
2, 3, 4.
Okay, so I moved 4. Was I going in a negative direction or in a positive direction?
Negative.
I'm going backwards, so that is going in a negative direction. So my answer is -4. Now, you can go ahead and just pull that negative out, which means the answer is -3/4. If you remember when we were talking about before that you read from left to right, I started right here and I'm going downward. So that should have been a clue to me that my answer or my slope is definitely going to be negative. Now you might say, what would happen if I had started instead, hold on. What would happen if instead I had started at this point right here to get to that point? Let's see what happens at this point. So I'm starting from that point up there. Count with me how many places I have to go down. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Is that positive 3 or negative 3? Negative 3 because I'm going downward, negative. Now I've got to go over because I do my rise first. Now I do my run. Run with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4 in a positive direction or a negative direction? That is positive, okay? Now I'm just going to bring my negative sign out, negative 3/4. Did I get the same answer? Yes, so it does not matter which point you start at. Just make sure you put in there whether it's positive or negative. So here we are on problem B. You'll notice that 2 points have already been plotted, and there is a slope there. What is the formula for slope? Rise over run. Every time I want you to go ahead and write that formula down first. Rise over run. We're going to try to figure out what the rise is first. So I'm going to start at my point, -6 and 0. Count with me until I get up to where the next point is. Go ahead. 1, okay, let's try that again. Count with me until we get up to that next point. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I know that my rise is 4. Is that positive 4 or negative 4? Positive. When you're going up, every time it will be positive. When you're going down, every time it will be negative. Now I've got to figure out my run. My run is left to right. Count them with me until we get over there to my second point. Go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Is that going in a positive direction or a negative direction? Anytime you go to the right, it's always going to be positive. Now, when you're actually doing this on your homework, I am okay with you writing the 4 and the 6 in there, but I do not want you to leave it there for your final problem. So go ahead now, erase that work so that I can just see the line that's there. Now, my rise is, my slope is 4 over 6, but that's not reduced. What number can go into a 4 that can also go into a 6? A 2. Divide by 2 on top and 2 on bottom, and what do you get? 2/3. So now your slope answer is 2/3. Once again, I'm going to show you. Let's say that I wanted to start with this point because I want to prove to you you can do it 2 ways. Now, let's say that I'm going from here. I go down 1, 2, 3, 4. If I'm going down, is that positive 4 or negative 4? That's negative 4. So my rise would be negative 4. And then I'm going left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm going left, is that the negative direction or a positive direction? Negative direction. So I've got negative 4 over negative 6. When I'm dividing by 2 negative numbers, my answer becomes what? Positive. So then my answer would still be 4/6, and when I reduce it, it would then be 2/3. So no matter what, whether you start with this point up here or you start with this point up down there, you're going to come up with the same answer either way. For example number 3, it says draw the graph of the line that passes through the points, then find the slope of the line. So the first thing we want to do is we want to plot these 2 points, 0 and 0. Who'd like to come up to the board and show me where 0 and 0 is? Monet, come on up. Okay, that is correct. Excellent job. Now I want you to go ahead and do the next one for me also. I want you to go to 5 and then 4 because our second point is 5 and 4. Okay, you start from the origin, go all the way over to the 5 and then up to the 4. Excellent job. Okay, because we always are going to do our X first and then we'll go up to the Y axis. Now what you want to do is it's like connect the dots. Go ahead and draw that graph. I'm not finished with what it asked me to do because it asked me to find the slope of the line. What is my formula for slope? Rise over run. Every time you're going to write down the formula first. Slope equals rise over run. So let's find the rise. I want you guys to do it on your own and see what you come up with. As I was walking around, I saw a lot of great answers. I'm going to do my rise first. So I'm going to go ahead and go up. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many of you got that your rise was a 4? And then the run, how many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can 4/5 be reduced? No, it cannot. So your answer is 4/5. But remember, I don't want to see this work right there, so I want you to go ahead and erase if you've got things over there on the side so that I can just see a nice clean graph. How many of you guys got that correct? A lot of people. Excellent job. So my slope, if I had asked you, it was 4/5. If you look at this and you saw that there was a skier or somebody going up the slopes, is he going in a positive or a negative direction? He's going in a positive direction. And notice right here, my slope is positive, not negative. Let's do one more example just like this. As you can see here, my instructions are still the same as before. So what we're going to do is we're going to plot these 2 points. The first one, Maya's going to do it for us, -1 and 5. So she starts at the origin, went to -1, and then up to 5. Great job. I want you to choose someone else to come up for the next one. Okay, excellent, London. We're going to start at the origin, then you want to go to 1 and -1. What do we do first every time, the X or the Y? The X is correct, so go over to 1 for the X, and then to -1. Okay, very good. You want to go over to 1 and then down to -1. And then just like before, you're basically doing connect the dots to draw your graph. Now, our instructions have also asked us to find the slope. Just by looking at this, imagine you've got a skier. He's starting at the top. Remember, we always start from left to right. He's starting here and going to here. Is he going in a positive, a negative, or a 0 direction?
Negative.
He's definitely going in a negative direction. So we can already tell we're going to have a negative slope. What is the formula for slope? Rise over run. So go ahead and write that formula down. And see if you can find the slope on your own. How many of you guys, as you were starting to do it, you started with this point first and then moved to the other one? Okay, a couple of people. How many of you would say you started at this point first and went to the other one? I'm going to show you how you can do it either way, okay, because it does not matter to me how you do it. So let's start for me. I'm going to start for this one down here at the bottom. Okay, rise over run. What comes first, rise or run? Rise. Count with me how many I'm going to rise. Count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I went up 6. Is that positive or negative 6? I went up. Anytime you go up, it's always going to be positive. Now, going from here, count with me till I get to my other one. 1, 2. Which direction did I go? Positive or negative? Negative. Anytime you go to the left, it's always going to be negative. So it's 6 over -2. But I've got to reduce that. If I reduce that, a 2 can go into both of them. What do I get?
-3.
Okay. 3 over a -1, and then we're just going to reduce that as small as we can go. What is 3 divided by -1? Not 3. -3. So your slope is a -3. All right. Great job, Kendall. She was my first one who got it correct. Once again, remember, I do not want to see this work that you did, so erase it. But let's say, for some of you, you guys did it the other way. You started here. I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? You've got a -6 over, sorry, I need to go down here, 1, 2, which still would equal -3. So it doesn't matter which way you go. Okay? That's all that we're going to do today because we are out of time. So that's everything you need to know for 8.3.